Right, from broadcasting to books, our next guests have managed to find time to step away from the radio mics and take up their pens, or iPads maybe, once more to write the second book in their Kid Normal series, which follows the adventures of Murph Cooper and his team of crime-fighting super zeros.
Super Zeros.
Yes.
BBC Radio 1 DJs Greg James and Chris Smith are here to tell us more. Good morning to you guys.
Good morning, gents.
And thank you for joining us.
Oh, thanks for having us.
You've a busy itinerary for today, don't you?
We do, yeah.
And it's all because the second Kid Normal book has been released. This is Kid Normal and the Rogue Heroes. So tell us, because we were talking about the importance of reading to your kids, and we've a gaggle of
With
kids
7
between
kids
us.
between us, yeah. It's very
Brady
important,
Bunch.
Yeah, exactly.
But it is so important, Greg, isn't it, to spend that time with your kids?
Well, we love using our brains to come up with things that weren't there before, and that was the jumping off point for doing this, because we work really well together on the radio, and we thought we want something that sticks around and can be enjoyed through generations and stuff. So we thought, well, let's write something, and then we came up with an idea for a children's book, and we just love the whole thing because we've tapped into bits of our brain that we didn't think were there, and anything we can do to encourage young people, or any age, to read a book we love.
But the way they're written, and you were talking about it before we came out, the way they're written to be read out and read together almost, so with the kids.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm a dad as well. I've got an 11-year-old. So, as we were saying, reading aloud to your kids and with your kids is such a brilliant moment at the end of the day. Kind of iPads off, screens off.
It's a great connection.
It's a really, really great connection. And it's an easy win for a parent, isn't it? If you read a funny book to your kid, you're like immediately the best stand-up comedian in the world.
You're the coolest dad in the world.
Yeah, it's like, yes, I'm reading Mr. Gumb. Yeah, but I came up with that. Yeah, no, I'm just a funny guy.
Just created that off the cuff here and now.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just a funny guy.
Tell us about the process in terms of the writing process, because, it's a collective thing, but what way do you break it down? Do you write something, pass it on to him, he'll change the note? What way does it work?
Bits of both, really. We actually talk about that a lot because it's people are interested in how do you write a book together. But actually, we've always worked together on things, and we've approached it. We've written sketches or skits or scripts before, and you tend to do those collaboratively. So we just approached a book in a very similar way. We just sat down in a room, and essentially we try and make each other laugh, and that's it. So I will wander around and do stupid voices and shout out ideas, and then Chris will do the same thing and go, that's not quite right, and we'll just switch it up, and then we will go away and do bits of chapters or chapters on our own and come back and deliver the homework and go, does this work, does this slot in, kind of thing.
And are you good in terms of deadlines? Is it good that you have, but is it good that you have each other to say, come on, we've got to get this in?
Did you mention that? Because Kid Normal Book 3, I think, is due in tomorrow.
Oh, and how are we looking?
Did you notice we both shuffled when you said the word deadline?
Twitchy,
Our editor's watching this. Sorry, Hannah.
Because we worked on the radio together for a long time, 10 years now. So, I mean, obviously, we work to deadlines. I do the news. So if the news happens at the top of the hour, there's nothing much you can do about that. You can't sort of say, no, I've not finished the news.
Yeah, it's not ready.
So we're relatively good with deadlines, but not this time.
He's not buying that.
But also we've really enjoyed talking about the first two, and it's quite hard to write the third one when you're still really into the second one. And for example, we're doing a signing this morning after this.
Yes.
We're going to be in Dublin, and we're really enjoying meeting the kids and doing these shows and stuff. So actually, we wanted to enjoy the first two, and then...
And are you getting... Do they give you direct feedback? Are you getting that kind of...
I think kids are the best for direct feedback, aren't they?
You're both parents,
Brutally honest.
The most brutal critics you can possibly have, aren't they? Yeah. I was also saying the other day, I was talking to my son about the fact that we were hurrying to finish the third book, and he just looked at me and went, I think that's what's known as a midlife crisis.
Oh, thank you, son.
Thank you so much.
So who, because I was asking you during the ad break, but just for parents watching this morning who haven't come across Kid Normal yet, who is the ideal child for this? Age group, first of all.
Well...
Because I have 5 and 6 as well as a baby, but you're saying they're perfect for it.
So 5 and 6, good to read to them, I would say. Yeah, and there's bits in the book, and I think you'll see that one of us is a parent when you read them out loud, because there are bits in the book that are very specifically, if you're reading this book out loud, you must put on an accent, shout something out the window.
Brilliant.
So it's really fun to read together. 9 to 12 years old is probably where it's kind of pitched at
the core.
To read on their own.
Okay.
But I mean, we are hearing anecdotally even even grown-ups
Yeah.
have been enjoying reading it.
They
as
do
well.
say that about children's books, though. It should be fun for a 5-year-old as well as a 50-year-old.
Yeah.
We didn't
Yeah,
write
it
a
is.
book for children, particularly. We just wrote the book that
funny book.
we wanted to write, and a funny book. And I think our sense of humour is probably about 9 to 10 years old. So that's just
Spot
where it
on
came
then.
out,
See, it's
yeah.
really important not to patronise kids when you're writing for them, and not to write down to them. We thought long and hard about it when we were writing. What did we like when we were kids? And actually, you like things that are a little bit older than you, and you aspire to like things that are a bit more grown up than you. So we didn't want to deliberately. The language is not basic. We try and introduce good vocabulary and introduce them to new themes and words. And
Tell us where you are with the story. Sorry, Anna.
No,
in terms of people who aren't familiar with the lead character.
Yeah.
Tell us where he was in the first book, where he is now in the second one. So where are we with him? Is it a new story? Is it a
So
continuation?
yeah, it's a new story. So the first book, like with any superhero story, it's the origin story. So Murph Cooper, who is Kid Normal, he arrives in a new town. He's moved there with his mum and his brother. He gets accidentally sent to a school for superheroes. Now, he doesn't have a superpower, and everybody else does. Now, without giving too much away about the first book, he makes some friends who are kind of the uncool kids in the class, and they end up, doing pretty well for themselves.
Yeah.
So they've made their own kind of superhero team,
Alliance.
which is which is called the Super Zeros, which started off as kind of a cruel nickname the kids at school gave them, but they've kind of made it their own.
They owned it.
They've
They
owned
owned
it.
it.
So when book 2 begins, Kid Normal and the Rogue Heroes, the Super Zeros are now members of the Heroes Alliance. They're proper superheroes.
Fully fledged.
But no one can quite believe it. It's like, what is this kid without a superpower doing in the Heroes Alliance? And there's a super villain, a very scary super villain, who's been in prison for 30 years.
Wow.
He has not said anything for
and
30
his
years.
first line that he says is...
Bring Kid Normal to me.
Dun, 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 dun.
And that's essentially where the second book kicks off. Yeah, and actually we just loved diving into the second one because we'd started creating this world, and actually, I wouldn't say it was easier, but we knew all the characters, and we knew exactly how they would react to certain situations, and we wanted to make it as big and as adventurous as possible.
We can't let you come in here and not talk about your job change. BBC Radio 1, an iconic position and a show that you're taking over. So just to explain to our viewers here who possibly don't get BBC Radio 1 or aren't familiar of the format, you're doing a swapsy with Nick Grimshaw.
Yeah, so he does The Breakfast Show currently.
Yes.
And then in the autumn, we're going to swap, and he's going to do my drive time show, and I'm going to go and do The Breakfast Show.
Okay.
Yeah.
So no pressure or anything, but this is a pretty big gig, isn't it? This is
No
Tony
pressure.
Blackburn.
It's
this is
fine.
Chris Evans. It's
Zoe Ball and Sarah Cox and those sort of
You'll
iconic
be
shows,
fine.
and
You'll be
it's a dream gig. I just can't wait to get into it and get up early to do it. But it's actually
middle of the night.
it's one of those shows that it's a.
But it is your dream job, isn't it?
Yeah,
From a very young age.
Doing radio shows has always been my dream job, and to get up and do a show like that, and actually it's quite a privilege. It sounds a bit cheesy, but it's quite a privilege to be the first person that people will hear in the morning, because you can set people's mood for the day.
Absolutely.
And I think that's quite, much like this show. You've
And
got to
BBC
be...
Radio 1 has that sense of, it's worldwide, isn't it? It's like an iconic station.
Yeah.
I'm like putting serious pressure
look at the
on
body
the poor
language.
man.
The blood's just draining from his face. Leave him alone, Anna. Leave him alone.
Yeah, no, it is brilliant, and it's got your own Annie Mac on there as well.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, she's flying it, isn't she?
Yeah,
She's a fellow alumnus of Queen's University Belfast with me. So,
Of course,
In
yes.
terms of
Representing.
in terms of Kid Normal, chaps, you're obviously book 3 is nearly done, and Hannah, they're nearly ready. What
Sorry,
what
Hannah.
plans are down the road in terms? Was there something maybe film-wise or animation or something? Or
Well, it depends if Disney are watching.
right, if they are watching,
The idea, we genuinely wanted to write stories, and we want them to be books, because actually we want this to be something that people enjoy. And one of the things we love doing about the radio is you do half the work and the audience do the other half.
Yeah.
So it's very similar with a book.
Yeah.
That you put out half the work, and then the young imaginations run wild,
the rest.
and they do the rest. And there are millions of different versions of the school, or what does Mr. Flash look like, or sound like, or do the voices. So one day, sure, that'd be great, but we want to focus on making it a
I'm just asking because I'm
book
putting
series.
myself forward for one of the characters in the movie.
Just saying.
I'm just dropping
who do you
it in
think?
there.
Are you casting him? Are you in Mr. Superman, maybe?
Superman.
Yeah, the head teacher.
You're the head
definitely.
teacher.
Yeah.
The head teacher, he is...
I don't know where you're going to find the time for that, by the way.
That's fine. We'll squeeze it in somewhere.
You'd be a good Mr.
So you're heading out to Easton's today, Conan Street.
Yes, we're there at 11 o'clock.
Yeah, you've got a busy morning, don't you?
Yeah, we better get down there.
And Belfast tomorrow.
Belfast tomorrow, but Easton's in O'Connell Street now, yeah.
And
Well,
we
listen,
have that
continued
here.
success. Congratulations on the first 2 books, and we look forward to seeing the third one. Thanks for coming
Brilliant.
in. guys.
Thank
so
you,
much.
guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, Greg and Chris are signing copies of their book Kid Normal and The Rogue Heroes at Easton's on O'Connell Street at 11 o'clock today, in about an hour.
Lots of feedback
wanna
from
get
young
it.
readers, no doubt. Now, still to come, we're serving up a rainbow Swiss roll over in the kitchen.
And we've some top outdoor games for a day in the sun. See you in a few minutes.